I'm Elizabeth, a literary princess. If you are new here, welcome. I have a PhD in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists, and as you might expect, I love to read. Today I have a classic tag for you, the end of the year book tag. Unfortunately, I do not know who created this tag. It seems to have kind of been lost to time, but it is a very common one. A lot of people do it, and I've done it pretty much every year since I've been on BookTube. So we've got, how many questions do we have? We've got 6 questions. Let's jump in. Question number 1, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, I have 2 that I am currently in the middle of and that I would like to finish this month. The first is the Unabridged Journals of Sylvia Plath, edited by Karen V. Kuckel? I never know how to pronounce that. I've been reading this since August, I think. To be fair, I took all of October off from it. But I would like to finish this. This is one of my 50 books I wanted to read this year as part of my second Plath era. If you don't know, I guess last year, maybe the year before, I can't really remember now, started to get very into Sylvia Plath for the second time because I was very into her in high school. I'm really enjoying these. It's just long. And it's not something you can really like read all in one sitting. And there's also like appendices that you have to kind of flip back and forth. It's crazy. But yes, I am hoping to finish this month. The second book that I need to finish is The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry, which I started in September. I'm about a third of the way through this, I would say. It's a work of historical fiction. And it's, again, another of my 50 books to read for the year. And I've had it since it came out almost, so I need to do that. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I just took a break during October to focus on my Victorian reading. Although technically it could have counted because it's set in the Victorian period, but like it could have been an adjacent type thing. But I took a break and I am getting back to it. And again, I'm hopefully going to finish it not only this month, but like this week would be really nice. We'll see what happens. Question number 2, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So usually I use a dark academia book to transition into the end of the year. I did not do that this year. But I did have 3 kind of spooky books that I think really worked for transition into autumn. The first was A Good House for Children by Kate Collins, a kind of gothic haunted house story set like up on a cliff. I forget where. This was fine, like it wasn't my favorite or anything, but I enjoyed reading it. It was 3 stars. Then we had The Bog Wife by Kay Cronenster, which was phenomenal. About this family that has like a kind of contract with the cranberry bog that they have on their land, where the bog will provide a wife for the oldest son as long as they are taking care of the bog properly. This was phenomenal. It is set in, I think, West Virginia. And it is just, I think it's perfect for going into fall because it is like so earthy. Like very nature, dirt, leaves, trees, I don't know. And it was quite creepy. Very gothic, again. Excellent, 5 stars. This is one of my favorite books of the year so far. And then the final one was The Lamb by Lucy Rose, which is a horror novel featuring cannibalism. And again, very, very creepy. So yeah, I kind of went for like a spooky transition into fall this year. The Lamb was 4 stars, I think. Following a young girl whose name I cannot remember right now, who lives with her mother, and they have a lot of strays come to their door, and the strays are, you know, people, and they eat them. You know, like you do. So yeah, very spooky transition into fall. I am kind of sad I didn't get any like dark academia or just academia book in there because I usually do, but oh well. Question number 3, is there a new release you are still waiting for? Nope, all of my new releases have come out, or all of my new releases that I was looking forward to have come out. That does not mean that I read them because I haven't for most of them. I would say that my most anticipated book was Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. And I am number 1 in the hold queue at the library right now. So I'm hoping to get this very, very soon and read it this month. So excited for it. But yeah, no, so everything I've been waiting for has come out. I just haven't gotten to read most of it. I was very good at the beginning of the year at like ordering the new releases I wanted from the library, and then I fell off. Question number 4, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So first up would be my 18th century novel project book for November, and that is The Italian by Anne Radcliffe. I am hoping to start this as soon as I am done with The Essex Serpent. Maybe before. I should also film the video for A Simple Story first though, because that's what I've been trying to do, is film the video for the previous month's book and then start that month's book. But we'll see. I'm super excited for this though. And also the December book for the 18th century novel project, Camilla by Frances Burney. Look at that chunker. Oh my god. I am really expecting to love this though. Oh, my light went off. And so the third book that I would really like to get to has been my answer to this question for at least the last 2 years, possibly the last 3. And that is Princess Napraxine by Ouida. I keep putting this on my list of 50 books and then not reading it. And I would really like to because I'm expecting to really enjoy it. I have heard that it's so good and I just need to read it. Please. Question number 5, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? There are 2 that I think have that possibility. The first would be Camilla by Frances Burney, because I adored Cecilia. Cecilia was one of my top books when I read it. Did I read it last year? I think I read it last year. Maybe it was the year before. Time doesn't exist, okay? But yeah, so I'm expecting that this could become a top book. And then the other one would be Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. Babel was my top book of the year. I'm pretty sure the year that I read it, which was the year it came out. I love that book. And Catabasis also is a critique of academia with fantasy, and I'm just expecting to really love it as well. And I very much think that it could take top spot. Top spot is currently occupied by I Who Have Never Known Men by a person, a woman, whose name I'm not remembering. I know she's Belgian. Jacqueline Hartman. So yeah, I think Catabasis is pretty much the only one that has a chance of unseating I Who Have Never Known Men. And I think Camilla has a chance of making it somewhere into the top 10. Question number 6, have you already started making reading plans for next year? And as usual, I have been starting to make my 2026 reading plans since January because I'm crazy. So I will go through kind of like a book or 2 from each of my categories for this year. There is going to be, again with the light, there is going to be a whole video going through all of my 50 books that I want to read for next year. But I'll give you a little sneak peek. So I am doing the Elizabeth Gaskell project next year, where I am reading all of Elizabeth Gaskell's long fiction in publication order. So this is going to involve some rereading, including Wives and Daughters, which is her final novel. Very excited to reread this because I had to read it really fast last time for an independent study, and I would like to take my time with it. Then for some not rereads from her, we've got Cranford. I'm so excited for this because everybody seems to love it, and I'm really excited. For some Victorian literature that is not Elizabeth Gaskell, I've got my intended read for March of the Mammoths, which is Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. I read Our Mutual Friend this past year and for March of the Mammoths and like really liked that. It was one of my top books of the year, but also just I like reading a Dickens for March of the Mammoths. So I think that's going to become a thing because he's got plenty of mammoths. Look at this. Look at this. 984 pages with notes. So for other classics, which this year is anything that is not Victorian, we've got The Priory by Dorothy Whipple. This is a 20th century classic and came highly recommended by Alana Estelle. And we also have the complete poems of Anne Sexton. So this past year, I have had a separate poetry category. I'm not actually doing that for 2026. It's just how it worked out. But this is a classic, so it's going into the other classics category, and I'm really excited to read more from her. I have read 3 of the collections that are in here because it's organized by like collection, and I've read 3 collections by her, so I'm excited to read more by her. In fantasy, we have one of my very anticipated releases from this year, Holy Terrors by Margaret Owen. This is the final book in the Little Thieves trilogy, which the first one is a retelling of the Goose Girl. We are following Vanya, who is the maid that forces the princess to switch places with her in the Goose Girl. And the story has very much evolved since then. I actually need to reread the first 2 books, and then I'm gonna take on this chunker. For other fiction, or also, you know what? I think it's gonna have to be just other reads this year because since I don't have a poetry category, if I read any modern poetry, I need to have somewhere to put that. So yeah, I guess it's gonna be other reads, which is anything that is not a classic Victorian nonfiction or a reread, I guess, or fantasy. Everything else. We've got Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have had this on my TBR for quite a while. I bought it right when it first came out. And again, with the light, I don't understand. Anyway, my husband constantly makes fun of me for this because he was with me when I bought it. We went to this little bookstore that used to be in my town. It is no longer there, it closed. And I was very excited to see this because it was an anticipated release, and I bought it. And literally ever since, whenever I go to buy another book, he goes, "Did you read that one that you bought that one time at that store?" I'm like, "No, I haven't. Shut up." So I really want to read this next year so that the next time he says it, I can be like, "Actually, yeah, I did." Meh. Also, it just sounds really good. It's a Gothic, I think historical, set in the 50s. Yes, 1950s Mexico. So yeah, I'm expecting it to be really good, and I really want to check off this box and be able to tell him to shut up. And then in nonfiction, another one that's been on my TBR for a really, really long time, literally since undergrad. And this is The Peabody Sisters, 3 Women Who Ignited American Romanticism by Megan Marshall. Megan Marshall wrote one of my favorite works of nonfiction, Margaret Fuller, An American Life. And I'm so excited to read this. I've heard it's fantastic. I have actually started it before, back when I first got it, and then had to stop for reasons. I don't remember. I think I just didn't have time. But this is going to be the year I get to it. So that is my end of the year book tag. Let me know down in the comments. Have you read any of these? What did you think of them? What are your answers to some of these questions? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.